all set? Thanks for letting me join the Zoom meeting. I think I've muted everything, so I should be all right. I'm muted. Okay. Dustin, you want to give the prayer? Shauna, you want to give the pledge?
Sure.
All right. Make sure and note that down right. Dustin, you want to give the prayer? Okay. Tammy, are we ready to start?
Whenever you're ready.
All right. Welcome, everyone. We'll get started in the Planning Commission tonight. I've asked Commissioner Faulkner to give the Pledge of Allegiance and then Commissioner Skeen to give a moment of silence invocation, and we'll take it from there. Commissioner Faulkner. Welcome, everyone.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful for this day which thou hast blessed us with. We're grateful for the opportunity that we have to meet tonight as a planning commission here in Plain City. We're grateful for the wonderful place in which we live and for the bounty and blessings this land provides us. We're grateful for thy hand in all things and ask thee that it may be with us tonight as we discuss the future planning and land uses of Plain City, that we'll be able to have the thoughts and desires of the members and citizens of this town in mind as we make decisions, that we'll be able to continue to make it a great place to live and raise our families and enjoy, and for us now and the future to come. And we ask you to please watch over those that serve our city daily and that watch over and protect us, and we ask you to help them as they're away from their families and that they'll be able to fulfill all their duties and obligations safely. And we ask and say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, both of you. All right. Roll call. We've got Commissioner Neal, Commissioner Faulkner, Commissioner Skeen, and myself. I don't know where Commissioner Ortega. Either one of them? Okay. Or Commissioner Abelman. All right. Well, I will read an opening meeting statement that we read before every meeting. Let me get that called up. So all those in attendance here should have signed in. The commission is interested in receiving public input and treating everyone fairly. In order to treat everyone fairly, it is important that we understand that the commission is governed by Utah state law and the Plain City zoning and subdivision regulations. These codes can be found online and contain the criteria that the commission must follow in making its decisions. The commission will make both legislative and administrative decisions during this meeting. Any legislative decision will be recommended to City Council for final approval during their scheduled meetings. Persons making presentations or providing comments shall address the commission from the podium or microphone and not from the audience. Commission or individuals desiring to make comments during the appropriate public comments or public hearing times are entitled to 3 minutes. Persons shall state their name and their address and will direct their comments to the commission and may not directly question or interrogate other persons in the audience. Proceedings before the commission shall at all times be orderly and respectful. Audience demonstrations such as applause, cheering, display of signs, or other conduct that is disruptive to the meeting are prohibited. Any persons behaving disorderly, abusive, or disruptive may be excluded from the meeting. The Planning Commission has adopted rules regarding outside contacts, otherwise known as ex parte communications. Commissioners are not to engage in communications outside of the public hearing regarding administrative applications. If you desire to speak to commissioners, it should be done at a regular meeting So your comments, concerns, and evidence are on public record. So having done the opening meeting statement, I will ask, any commissioners had any ex parte communications? Commissioner Skeen?
None for me.
I was approached by Bart Cragen the Monday after our meeting. They had provided him a memo of understanding. Apparently that was on a Friday. He said they really tried to play a lot of pressure on him to sign it, but he had a lot of concerns where it was only like about 3/4 of a page, and he did show it to me. But he had his, since he works for the county, he had his county attorney look at it, and he said it's too vague, it's too open-ended, and it leaves a lot of thing on to Bart.
Oh, and that's why we wanted him to present it to him before, and kudos to him for not just signing it.
And so Bart had a list of things he went over with me that he'd like to see in it, so
Okay.
he was gonna take it back to him, and I don't know what the result of that is.
So we had asked for that, and it was specific to deeding him the well and access to it. So,
As well as utilities to the well, right? He wanted a connection.
so the letter did not address those things, or Bart was just unhappy with the?
Well, it's supposed to give that 1-inch connection like that, and they would, in the letter, it says that it go as far as 15 feet. Well, that doesn't get it even near,
It's very vague too.
that doesn't get it near the property. So, there was some other things like that that left it pretty open interpretation, so. Like I say, I don't know what came of it, it's going back.
So that will affect whether they can build or not, correct? I mean, that's what it was, that we were saying that paper was an official document. So
Whether they can
that
have a
had-
pre-construction meeting and start.
And
yes.
they did have, and I'd actually seen Dan during the week, Home Depot, and he mentioned that day that they had a pre-con with
they
Sage
did?
Creek.
Did they bring up that item?
I know he talked about the roads,
Good. Well, that's,
3,600, like that.
all right.
And I did provide that information to the council when
Oh, did
I
you?
was there, since I was the
Oh,
couple.
because it happened after you, oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's an update
Well,
for the council.
we'll see where that takes us. All right, now is time for public comments. I do not see anything that we don't have a public hearing tonight. We have a motion to set a public hearing, but not a public hearing. So if you have any comments from the public, now is the time. You're welcome to come up, say what you need to say.
I'm Caitlin Shaw. We just built a home, well, we just moved into the home we built at 4702 West, 2200 North. And since we moved from Layton to Plain City, I have been an avid follower of City Planning Commission meetings because we moved from a highly developed area to a less than developed area, and I was like, I really want to know what's happening now.
Well, I will say you're in the minority. You know, we love planning.
Yes, I am. My husband tells me all the time, "Oh, when did you become this weirdo?" I was like, it's fine. But so, we've realized that the Weiniger, development that will be going in off 5100 will be essentially our backyard because we don't
Okay.
have anything behind us. The property is owned by, Marriott's, and then there's a couple other people, but essentially it's our backyard, open space, and then the subdivision. And so we've taken interest to the development and the subdivision, and we've noticed the discussions that have happened. And a discussion that we feel like has been missed has been the increased traffic that will come on 2200 North, which is directly in front of our house. Since we moved in January, we've heard or watched 3 different car accidents happen at 2200 North and 4700 because there's only 2 stop signs, none of which stop traffic on 2200. It's only
Do
stopping.
they stop
Do they stop?
at the
There's
stop
not a-
sign?
There is not a stop
There's
sign
not.
on 2200.
Got it.
So a lot of 2 of the 3 accidents that we've watched have been, I think, from the light and the sunrise, sunset stuff.
Sure.
And not seeing that there's a car coming up the road as they're turning left or turning right. And so, like, we have 6 kids. Then we right now have people that come down 2200 North going 50 at least. And without, we don't have sidewalks. From us going west, there aren't sidewalks. There are east of us.
Are you down the hill?
We're at the bottom of the hill, so it's us and then the parcel that connects to everything behind us, and then the rest of
Gotcha,
the previously built houses.
okay.
So like we're the end of the hill, which is so funny. I grew up on the mountain, and I'm like,
You're
that's it.
concerned about the volume of traffic that.
Oh yeah, if you're putting 150 houses on it, you've got at least 200 cars.
I'm sure there's more than that, actually.
Yeah, that's the minimum amount, right? And that's all gonna be coming down 2200, right? There's not another way that I know of to get to 5100, to get to that newer development, other than to come down 2200. So it's gonna, in order for it to be accommodated for the increased traffic, to keep, I know we're not the only ones that live right there that have kids. There's a lot of us on the road on 2200 that have kids right there.
Of course.
So there's gotta be some infrastructure type things done to 2200. There's not a crosswalk to get across 2200, at 4700. It's just kind of like my kids call it Frogger. Like, they wanna go to their friend's house across the street. They've gotta play Frogger to get there. So there's just some infrastructure stuff that has not been discussed in correlation to the subdivision being built, it would directly affect. So that's my only concern.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we say anything?
I think we can, if you want.
So I don't know, this is not necessarily helpful, but 2200 North is a state road until it meets 47, and then it continues as a state road down 47. So I think it's valid, we need to worry about sidewalks, but there is some work that will have to be done through the state.
And we have voiced the concern about increased traffic to the developer, as a commission and in technical review meetings that we've had. But we're still looking forward to a solution. So we'll hopefully get some more clarity on that. All right.
Thanks.
Anybody else? Anybody else online that would like to say anything? Please raise your hand. I don't see anything, so we will move on. We will, approval of the minutes for October 9th, 2025. Anybody else online that would like to say anything? Please raise your hand. Anything that stood out that we need to change?
I sent Tammy a couple of word things, but everything else looked good to me.
Okay. Approval of the minutes for October 9th. All right. Anybody else? No. I will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the Planning Commission minutes from the meeting held on October 9th, 2025.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I didn't put the,
I will entertain a motion.
work meeting on there.
No, you didn't, but you did send out those minutes. Should we hold off on a motion on the work meeting until next meeting then, Tammy?
Do it next week.
Okay. Okay.
You have a lot of time to look at them.
I already did.
Notice that, sorry.
Okay. Technical review report. There was one technical review. I'll share my screen now. I already did. Okay. All right, so I got the wrong thing up. Oh, I'll share my screen. You guys don't need to see the agenda. Do ya? There. Deep Root subdivision was brought in. And it is, this is a really, oh no, this is gonna freeze up again, no.
This is current.
This is, yeah, 2022 zoning. So it's hard to read. Let's see, how can I best describe this? Actually, I'll go to a different, let's see if I can do that. Page down. Come on, where's my page down? I don't use this. So it's hard to read.
It's in here, so.
Yeah, there, that's better. So, we'll zoom in a little bit. So you got 2,600 here, 2,200 here, 4,100, 3,600, and it's this parcel right here at the end of Taylor Parks. You see where I'm talking? Yeah, you've got it, Dustin. Okay, so I tried to take notes as I went. Current land use, it is already RE15. Future land use was 15 MD2. So he gave us two proposals for this, just to see what we thought. And one was just a standard 15 or third acre lots, 15,000 lots. And the other was a senior overlay. I'll zoom in there for you. Yeah, I hear myself.
Why can't, I don't know.
Is it coming from you?
I keep turning down the microphone.
Okay. Is it somebody's, I don't know where it's coming from, but I hear myself in stereo and I don't like it. It's not me. Let's put it that way. But so he looked at two different proposals and we walked him through it, you know, what the process would be. You know, kind of went through the process and where the ordinances were, how it would work. I think, and they still hadn't made a decision. I think what you're gonna see is them to come back with the third acre lot subdivision.
How many homes?
It's not many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 homes with a detention pond, maybe a drainage easement is what we were thinking with the ditch.
So is it just, it's just one side of the street?
Yep,
It's kind of a bad spot for a cul-de-sac, isn't it?
kinda is. Kinda, well, 'cause it's just, yeah, it's kind of,
You're just creating on the other end of the road.
and, you know.
Oh, there is a stub road there. I didn't see that, actually. Is that a road that goes to the west?
This guy right here, there's a stub road here that comes from the south, stub road here that goes to the west.
Okay, I didn't see that initially. Okay,
That's okay, it's hard to see, isn't it?
yeah,
Okay,
that makes more sense.
I see it,
Cul-de-sac,
I
okay.
see it fine on my screen, I don't know what you're, yeah,
So is that saying there'll be a stub road up here?
yeah.
Yeah, somewhere
Yeah.
in there.
And you saw from the other one too, you know, it was a little bit with the senior overlay. He asked us what my feelings were. I said, well, there's a demand for it. I don't know about having a senior housing in this pocket, but I mean, told him I couldn't gauge what the commission and council might ultimately say. But, you know, I didn't see a problem with it. I mean, he pointed them to the ordinance with open space and density and frontage, so. And utility-wise, let's see, I think they were pretty, they had pretty much everything set up there too, from my notes. Yeah, they were pretty, there it is. The only thing is making sure that it's got high groundwater, all that land does out there, and you know, our electrical utilities wanted to have separate meters, and those were the things they discussed. He said he'd go back and weigh you know, the process and the cost and see what they'd wanna do. That was Mr. Jensen, so,
Oh, okay.
okay?
Okay.
That was our technical review meeting. Dan, did I miss anything? I'll take that as a no.
Nope.
I love it. Okay. Well, all right, I will stop sharing. Okay. There you are. Let's move to administrative options right now. We have a discussion motion for an updated plan for Plain City commercial parcels by Mr. Jake Finlinson. That That you, Mr. Finlinson? Why don't you step on up and we'll talk.
All right, good evening, Jake Finlinson with Perry Commercial. If you recall, a few months ago, came in and got approval for this subdivision. Since that time, UDOT has made a request, and so that's why I am here. Just a refresher on this, we are planning on subdividing this lot and taking out 1.2 acres for an O'Reilly's Auto Parts. And then the rest will be a remainder parcel that will just remain undeveloped until the demand is there for either commercial or another use. So the biggest change on this plan from what was originally approved to what I'm coming to you now for is in the original plan, there was a secondary access on the eastern side of the remainder parcel, a curb cut
Okay.
right off of 2600. And UDOT has just requested us to put a stop to that for now. It's likely that we would, coming back, as we figure out what to do with that remainder parcel, whether that's 5 or 10 years from now, to ask for that curb cut from UDOT, but for the time being, it is easier just to say, okay, we're gonna eliminate that.
Because they do understand you're gonna need another road.
Yeah.
They do understand, yes.
I think what they're trying to do is to see where your approach is on lot one and then respond to it when the development comes later, cause,
It's that, as well as in conjunction with what the developer to the east of us in the county land is going to be doing.
I see.
And making sure that those access points aren't too close together. And with us being kind of an open-ended, we don't know what we're doing, we were just asking for a curb cut.
Yeah, it's hard to take first place when you're not really
Exactly.
developing right now.
And so that's the only change. Everything else is the same,
Okay.
so.
Well, in our engineer's comments, he said about being revised as indicated on the attached red line drawings. Has that been done?
That has been done, yes.
Yes, we had no further comments from our engineer saying that it had been accomplished.
Yeah,
So,
to my knowledge, we've addressed all those and we're good to go.
Tammy, they've done that? Okay.
Yeah, it was just a few words you wanted changed.
Do you think you could emphasize that I would really prefer if you pull in and the back of the storefront is to the road and then you pull in and park that way? They can still put their sign on the back of the building. I think that's easier for the residents across the street to look at.
Yes, I will.
You mean the east side of the building or wherever
No,
the building?
Here, the storefront. So they'd pull in and park back here.
Oh, okay.
So I do know that as soon as we get approval on this, that will allow O'Reilly's to formally submit their
Site
site
plan.
plan.
Correct.
But I can kind of give them a heads up that that's what your
Yeah.
preference would be, but
Okay.
All right. Hello, Commissioner Ortega.
Oh, thanks for being my.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Glad you're here. Okay.
Jake.
Any other questions?
This is a motion, right?
Yes, it is. You ready for a motion?
well, wait, I kind of gave the council a heads up of what we'd be talking about, one of the things like that. And we discussed a little bit, there was about UDOT asking the developer to coordinate with Plain City regarding the gap in improvements such as curb, gutter, sidewalk, and asphalt widening. I didn't have any further information on that, and so no one, as far as I know, has been contacted with Plain City. But Dan, have you been contacted regarding any of those issues?
No, and, yeah, we'd like to see the improvements in, but with it being a UDOT road, I think they would have to spark up the conversation with that, so.
Wouldn't that come in at site plan too? That's subdivision. Right?
I think so.
Okay.
That was just one of the
Sure.
comments that Brad had, and so I was curious if anybody in Plain City had been contacted.
Not yet. UDOT can be a
And so the council was interested too.
slow-moving animal until they want to move faster. I don't know how else to put it. So, okay. Any other comments, questions for Mr. Finlinson?
I don't think so.
Then I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the updated plan for the commercial parcels presented on the agenda.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion appears unanimous. Thank you very much. All right, let's move to legislative items. First thing we have on legislative items is a subdivision amendment for Mustang Run. Mr. LaFleur, you're here. You want to come up to the podium here?
So, I'm just looking at combining the two lots. It's a subdivision, but it's a two-lot subdivision.
Okay.
And originally, it's two flag lots. I was gonna sell the other piece when I bought the property in '07. And we've just kept it all these years, and I thought I might as well put it in one tax ID number,
Okay.
just combine them.
So those will just be used for access? Is that how it's going to work to that, the whole property?
Yeah, so it won't change anything, really. It'll just
Okay.
tax ID number.
All it is a consolidation apparently. Just
So and it's only 2 lots, why does it have to go to city council? I'm just asking.
That's a good question. I didn't think about that. And it is just a subdivision amendment, right? Isn't that an administrative item? I didn't catch that.
Oh.
I'm not sure because Diane said today this is coming to her.
Sure.
So I just said, yeah.
I don't see how that goes to her, though. So should we make a motion to recommend it to the city council, or should we just approve it?
Because it's an amendment. You do the subdivisions, but the amendments would go to.
Is that right?
Yeah, I
Okay. All right, well, we were hoping to eliminate one meeting for you.
I was hoping. It's, I was hoping it's pretty simple. It's just-
Yeah, that's what that's the.
I don't even think in the past we've sent,
I don't think so, but
Amendments.
Maybe amendment's the word, I can't remember.
that's a good point. So because this is an amendment, okay.
And this may have been under, when we used to do had them send them to city council, how
I mean,
this
better safe, let's,
subdivision is.
that way
Because
tonight.
they are the land use authority. Okay, then I will entertain a motion for recommendation.
I'll make a motion to recommend to the city council the amendment to the Mustang Run subdivision, consolidating from 2 lots to 1 lot at 4526 West, 1975 North.
Have a second.
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion appears unanimous. Well, we'll see you at city council then.
Can't wait. When is the next city council meeting?
First week in November, and it's probably the only
2
one.
weeks from now,
Yeah. First Thursday in
weeks from-
November,
because the next week's the 5th Thursday, so it'd be the first Thursday in
which
November.
would be
5th, 6th, the 6th, I think.
November 6th. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Okay, thank you.
You bet. Okay, next. Senior overlay by Mr. Brian Bingham.
No,
Is that right? Did I miss something, Tammy?
Discussion motion on the,
Oh, I did. I'm sorry. I have the old one here. It's a discussion motion to set a public hearing for the residential overlay with public amenities for the Pitcher property, the Weiniger property, excuse me. So that will be a public hearing for November 13th.
make a motion to set a public hearing for November 13th regarding the Weiniger property.
What's this about?
What's it about? It's the Vinegar Trust,
The one by the landfill.
hearing.
the one that we had.
Right, so do we have a plan that we're going over, or is this, why are we having a public meeting about it?
This
public
public hearing.
hearing.
Public hearing about it.
Yeah,
Okay, so just the.
That's
possibility
okay.
of Possibly doing,
Mhm.
overlay?
yeah,
It's, yeah.
that's what he's pursuing, so yeah, we'll have the hearing that night.
Okay.
Okay, so I had a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion appears unanimous. Now, let's have a discussion on the Brian Bingham Senior Overlay property. Sorry to get you up early. I was reading an old agenda here and not what was up.
reps.
Yeah.
Okay, you got some steps in, right? Okay. You're Brian Bingham?
I am, sir, yeah.
Okay, all right, and you've got this, you're proposing a senior overlay for this property.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, it's this one.
This is 21.
Kelly's Cove, is that correct?
Yes, yeah, Kelly's Cove.
Yes, I have something, so.
Sorry, I even looked at it, I just forgot. Okay.
So we're under contract to purchase 2131 North, 4650 West, and as well, a half an acre of 2183 North, 4650 West, with the intention of developing that into senior residential living within an overlay to put in 18, it's 3 acres in total. So with the density, it would
Fits our ordinance.
fits the ordinance at 18 units. We had an initial technical review with Dan and some others.
Yes.
Yes. And got some great feedback from them, put together this initial concept. We've been playing with a couple of others, but wanted to take a few moments of your time this evening to discuss any concerns or issues that you all may have that we should make sure that we address in our official subsequent subdivision application as we go through this process. I will note that we've submitted a plan to the Mountain View Water, and so they are meeting on first week of November to discuss that, and then we'll get the will serve from them and send that into the primary water provider. So we're just kind of checking the boxes, moving through, but the purpose of tonight is to make sure that we're fixing any issues with layout or concerns or otherwise that you all may have, and
Okay.
any recommendations that you have for us as we move through this process.
So you've changed kind of the concept a little bit there for your first. at
We
least-
have, yeah, so we met with UDOT. Originally, we were just purchasing 2131 and the horse pasture behind it,
Off of 2150.
with the idea of having the entrance off of 4650. We met with UDOT. They said we were too close to, I think it's 2135 north, or whatever that tiny road is there. So then we went back to John Dixon and talked with him and agreed to purchase a half acre of his property to the north. That's that 2183 property off of 2150 north.
So your
So-
map actually identifies both roads as 2150 north?
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
That's-
Which
The
one
one,
is
This one right
This one?
here, yeah.
And what is it?
That's,
This one here is the one that goes along Fremont.
yeah,
This is the actual UDOT road right here. right?
yep, that's the
Yeah.
one.
So this is,
No, this is the.
This is 2150.
yeah, the north to south is the UDOT road.
What's the
47, isn't there? somewhere?
4700?
Yep,
4700, right?
that's what Fremont's on.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
right?
Or it might be
That's my co-
4650
that's-
right there.
yeah, right there is 46.
Okay,
And then it makes that right-hand turn
right, and that,
on our side of
that
20.
functionally works a lot better with what you have now, yeah.
For sure, it allowed us to put more properties there, and so we
So
were,
is 2150, it's just 2150
2200,
there, but it's really, and so is this more traffic on that street in addition to the Weinigers down the road?
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Just checking.
yeah, we were listening intently to that conversation, recognizing that would also be something that, I mean, obviously, we're much smaller than that other development, a tenth the size, but you're right, there would be more traffic there.
And they're kind of, are they at the bottom of the hill or kind of on the slope where you enter?
Oh, where it's
the
at the
sloop,
top.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
So it's
fairly
right before you head down the hill?
right before you head down the hill, yeah.
Well, you're right.
so,
It's at the
Only
top.
asking because it's gonna be seniors pulling out on a
It's really
strip
not
that
that
could
much.
potentially get busier.
It's really not that much of the hill. It might be questionably the second largest hill in all of our town.
It's the only hill when you're running that.
Welcome to Plain City.
But back with that, though, you have a lot of.
You know the
students
other
and
hill
stuff,
I'm talking about,
A lot
so.
of students and things like that being close to Fremont. If I was a senior, I wouldn't want, you know.
Be
to
pulling out into the road
competing
from
like
Fremont.
that.
I like this
In fact,
better
how many,
myself.
what's that?
I like this option better myself. with-
Before, was it coming off of?
Yes.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't care for the idea of senior
No?
overlay in that area.
You don't like that location? Why not?
Well, basically because of the road, highway there, the location to Fremont there. And, you know, I'm sure these seniors like to sleep in, hearing a band at 6 o'clock.
Oh, yeah, the band. I forgot about that.
Again, just asking the question, if it was just sticking to the current zone, how many homes could fit in there?
The current zone, it's partially RE15, partially RE20, the way that it's laid out. So with 3 acres, depending on, you know, we'd be maximum 9 if we were able to rezone it all at RE15. Well, not even 9, probably 8,
Okay.
once we had access.
That 18. Future's 18
Oh,
on it, yeah.
for this, yeah, six per acre, right? According to the senior overlay?
Oh, the senior overlay, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
so.
No, I was just looking at it, it's part of the, like you said, the current zoning is, part of it's 15, part of it's 20, and the future has it all in the 18.5 zone.
Sorry, I missed what you said. In the future, it has what?
The future land use map is 18.5.
Which means if you wanted to rezone it from RE20, you could go to 18.5.
Understood.
The other that's 15, you don't have to rezone, but if you did, it would have to be 18.
I mean, we obviously love the idea of the senior housing, and we think with this, this layout and this property, it's a great use of the property. Right now, that 2-acre field is just sitting fallow and is landlocked.
It's a very awkward shape. so
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely done good with that.
Okay. One thing I would say is, I would like on your further plans to, a space provided for additional parking spots.
Okay.
Wouldn't you think, Commission? For people visiting, that they can park there too, because you're only gonna have enough room to park, like, according to ordinance, 2 cars into those units. And then, you know, if you have someone visiting, you're gonna really congest that road to provide someplace for, and my other is a question is what are you going to do with the open space now to the east? That's open.
In fact, sorry, let me introduce my colleague, Jake Hone,
Hello.
who's here as well. We were just visiting there tonight before this meeting, discussing what to do with that existing home. Whether we tear it down and then, you know, create open space, or whether that, you know, we have, one of the ideas was to keep that, make that part of, that house part of the 18, spread the units out a little bit. Or, you know, we've been working with a couple of plans with that existing structure.
Okay.
So it'll, in sum, it'll either be demolished or it'll become integrated in part of that subdivision.
Okay.
Will these homes have a patio
A patio?
Like a front patio,
or back patio?
back patio.
We haven't done the full architectural design yet, but if that's something, that is something that I know a lot of people really like, and so
I think
that
seniors would. and
seniors would
that's
really like
something
that.
you're not- I think you need to provide some kind of boundary or something.
Yeah, I like that
But I
idea.
think it's also valid that there needs to be more parking.
I do too, I think.
Yeah, right now,
If you turned your one unit to fit down in that little space, then you could put more parking in.
Right. I mean, you could space it out, put a few spots, yeah. Yeah, something like that, but,
Yeah.
you know, as you get this more refined, we'd like to see those come in.
okay. Yeah, happy to.
I'd like to see the open space a little more centralized, so it's easier for all the residents to get to. And
That's a good
I know
point.
that's not gonna be easy with the shape of this, but I'd like them all to have kind of equal use of that space.
I will say my parents live in a senior overlay right now, and they rarely use the open space, and it
Okay.
is rarely used. I'm not against making it more centralized, but it's not heavily used, so.
Is there a design feature that your parents
That's why I
miss
asked
or
about
they
the
would really
patio,
like,
back
the
patio,
patios?
their back patio.
Okay.
Well, one of them does now, the others.
Okay.
And
But that's the most important yeah.
I know that the housing overlay, as it's written now, is one member has to be 50 years old or plus, 50 years old or more, which is different than the traditional 55 plus only. And so I'm curious in Plain City what your experience has been with that. Do you have more of the middle age, like are most of the housing, the senior housing units not legitimately, but done with people who are retirees, et cetera? Or are they, they've got families with teenagers and one of the parents is over 50?
Mostly it's retirees, I want to say, and there's a high demand for it.
Okay.
And a few years ago when we wrote this and I wasn't over 50, I thought that was okay, but now I feel old.
So again, where my
So-
parents are at, a lady just moved in who is in her 50s, but just recently lost her husband, and so thought that would be a good fit because she doesn't have yard care, so.
Right.
So I don't think that it's still really exclusive to retirees, but for sure, 90% is.
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's helpful just as, we're putting in the layouts and as we're designing it, that we have an understanding of the market demand, what's best for the residents of Plain City.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you do understand too, I mean, even if this is denied here in the commission, you will go to the city council and, I'm just prepping you.
We only
know,
recommend,
We only give a recommendation.
and that's just because of the overlay.
Yeah.
Understood. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
But yeah, so,
One last thing for me, I'm against the idea of a duplex. I'd rather see smaller units separated.
do you?
It's just so they don't have to share walls, because I think that creates a lot of problems for
I'm not,
residents on the road.
I will make the note that the shared wall is between garages
Oh, okay,
in our initial concept,
okay.
knowing as well that, people don't want to hear their neighbors.
All right, yeah, that makes sense.
But your point is well taken. If that doesn't work, I think where we do a mix of either those duplexes and some single-family
You
houses.
definitely have room to separate them, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the shared wall is garages, that would solve it for me, I think. But I just know there's not a lot of direction on duplexes in the code, especially the senior overlay. There's not really much, but, the only direction is that it would be on a half-acre lot, and so I know that there's exceptions here, but yeah, so that makes sense.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Commissioner Neal, did you have any other concerns or direct questions that we?
My concern is we're getting hit quite a bit lately right now with senior overlays. So I have to look at kind of what the locations are like that, because just in a technical review, you said that they were looking at doing a senior overlay.
I think that's fair for you to know. We have 2 more being put in right now.
Okay.
And so is this the appropriate location for this?
right.
I've been that close to the Fremont and stuff, the things that interfere with something like that. I'm not sure if this is I like the design, I just don't know if it's like the location.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
I don't mind the location very much, especially with that access on the street out, and you can argue visibility on our hill, but, we like our hill, and, but I think it'll work. I made my comment about additional parking, and I'd like to
Yep.
see that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Yeah, I
happy
agree.
to.
I think 2150 North is gonna become a much busier street, and
Especially with the development going on.
Yeah. I'm really not sure this is a great place for this many units. And
Okay, fair.
And Hey, Brian, real
Oh,
quick,
hey, Dan.
was UDOT,
There's a ghost.
firm no on exiting out of 4650.
So they didn't give us a firm no. What they said was we could have a temporary access on 4650. And if the property to the north, it was ever developed, there would have to be, that would then become the permanent one, the permanent access.
Well, my thought is to just have that road loop through, so then that way, if 4650 is busy because school's letting out, then they can go out 2150, and if 2150 is backed up or whatever, then they'd have the option to go out to 4650.
Yeah, I love that idea. I can check in with UDOT. My understanding was that they didn't want access.
Just because of the vicinity with the other road across the
Because
street.
it was within 300 feet of that other road that's kitty corner.
This one right here?
Yeah. They don't like that.
They like their
Just
streets lined up.
because that 2200
Cars pulling out.
2200 right there, that is going to be that's going to be getting pretty busy here, and that's where I'd like to, and then one thing to keep in mind when you're planning this about mail routes, mail trucks, and also sanitation as well. So, and what are you going to do for garbage? It's going to be a dumpster, and you're going to have a garbage truck go in there and on a 41-foot road. And so, like I said, just things to keep in mind when you're planning this.
Yeah, no, it's a great point.
Mail trucks, and also sanitation as well. So, and what are you going to do for garbage?
We get reverberation there. That's awesome. Okay.
So just my thoughts, I'm kind of more in line with Blake on this one. I think we do have a little bit of overabundance right now of senior overlay. I think we have 75, 80 senior housing lots up
Okay.
and coming. There's a little bit of a grade there that may make it a little less friendly to seniors. I don't know exactly where the houses are gonna line up on the grade, it drops off there. So typically with the overlays, we like to see some connectivity, trails, things of that nature. I think we're gonna have this here. All of the surrounding lots in that area are large lots, so tucking a little, especially an attached dwelling, little development in the middle of all that, doesn't feel like a good fit for me either. And then, of course, the attached dwelling portion of it, I don't really like that either. So those are just that's just my feedback for the meeting. Obviously, there's no motion. I just figured since you came and wanted a discussion, I would just relay
No, this is
kind of
great.
what my thought process is on it as well.
Yeah. I will note that one of the ideas that we had was to put a walking trail around the perimeter of the property.
Would that walking trail be used by only the residents in this development?
Yeah, no, it wouldn't connect.
Okay.
Wouldn't want them to feel unsafe by having
Of course.
whoever come and be on that, but yeah. That was one of the ideas, to your point of places where they can get out. But yeah, I appreciate the
For
feedback.
sure, yeah.
And
So,
we'll
and
take
I
all
would
that.
agree, there's a lot of senior right now, but I also, if I was living in these homes, I'd rather have a senior overlay back there than
Then
smaller
Yeah.
lots with homes.
senior overlays
They're
tend to be,
quiet,
yeah,
drive slow.
a little
And
less.
that's kind of the issue right there. You're gonna have these high school students
Right.
behind some old slow
But
drivers.
do a
They're
lot of
gonna
them come
cause,
up that road? I don't know. Maybe from the new development.
yeah.
They will.
But if we don't look at the Fremont issue, like, it's gonna have the increased
Fremont's
traffic
this-
come down there, so that's
So you would
a lot of issues.
less want them to come out on that road, right?
I think we're about,
Absolutely.
yeah, we're about a mile to the north of Fremont High School.
Hey,
Thereabouts.
that doesn't matter. I'm on,
Oh, I'm not
I'm on the
saying,
other side of Plain City, and I can hear them.
yeah. Yeah, I'm
I
not,
like to hear the band. My spouse, however, she does not.
Let's go in the house.
that's impressive that you guys have a band that is that powerful.
Oh, they've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
They'll go around at 6 in the morning in the summertime to practice.
And on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
sounds
great.
great.
Any other comments for him?
Jake, did you have any questions or thoughts, Dad? Okay.
Yeah, my name is Jake Hone. I'm with Grow Development. We partner with Brian on this deal. I have had quite a bit of experience in active adult living and senior housing. Before I started my company as Grow Development, I was with Toll Brothers. They're one of the national home builders, and they do feature mainly a lot of active adult communities all across kind of the Sun Belt, Florida, Texas, Arizona, Southern California. This is a great opportunity to really diversify the housing in the city. We do have plenty of space to break up some singles and have a diversity of product. So you could have some attached twins, and then you could have some singles. We could program them to be, you know, like the single story. A lot of floor plans that we saw were very successful were a single level living with, you know, the primary bedroom and everything on the main floor, but then a bonus space up above. And you would do, you know, 1 or 2 bedrooms and a bathroom for anytime family, grandkids, those on come and visit and stay there. So I think there's plenty of opportunity to do the parking and
You're
look
gonna
at
have to
that.
include one of those chairs that goes up the stairs.
Yep. But no, I appreciate your service as a planning commission. I go to a lot of different cities, and so thank you for being here and providing your service to the city. We're very grateful that you heard us out and took a look at the project. We'd love to refine it and make it a welcome project in Plains. So, thank you.
Very good.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. I hope this was helpful.
Oh, this is, yeah, very helpful.
Good.
Very,
Okay.
very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I lost my agenda. Okay. Report from city council.
Well, it's pretty short and sweet, really. Only like
30 minutes?
And basically, it was just for the annexation of the islands and properties that are basically along 2600. We did have Debbie Allred speak during the public comments. She'd been hearing some misinformation and things like that, which was clarified for her. So,
Okay.
That was it?
that was basically it.
Wow, okay. Wow. Are we going to see any of that annexation come in here?
It's just an
If
info,
not, it's
this
gonna
is,
go
this is a
straight, yeah.
legislative item, and I've been seeing this text regarding a meeting like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to 2008,
Oh, man.
when the Jackson property was annexed in, and I was part of that annexation.
Right.
And we did not want to be annexed in. And actually, I had written a letter to the city, and our neighbors had signed it. But then the mayor, Jenkins at the time, did call us in. But all we had was Mayor Jenkins, we had Brett Farron, and we had LaFrey Kelly. We had nobody from the planning commission there. And then what really swings that is Brett.
I vaguely remember being there, but I was there because Grandpa told me to be there.
Well, Brett had the state statute that says you can annex in and leave a peninsula. And so basically, due to state statute, we were annexed in. In the long run, did it hurt? No. My taxes actually went down a little bit, and I didn't have to be paying a sewage fee that I was told that I was gonna have to be paying. But
Well, I
So a
was
lot of
feeling
those
a
mis-
little bit bad that maybe they didn't have good information, but it feels like they've been talked to several times. If at city council, they were able to express some things too. Is that right? That's what
yeah,
you're saying?
her concern was being able to keep her horses. She had been told that she wouldn't be able to keep her
Now,
horses.
she already, so,
Who told her that?
I don't know.
now, she already has horse property. Yes, I don't know what Weaver County's horse property ordinance is,
I don't know either, but
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 she,
if- that
her,
would be
but she,
grandfathered in as well.
well, thing is she has, her lot's over 20,000 square feet.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's over a half acre.
Yeah,
Yeah, so, I don't know, they don't,
yeah, no kidding. I don't understand that. I will say at 2008, my grandpa was so very excited to be finally part of Plain City. Because, you know, he'd lived his whole life on the outskirts and technically said he was from Plain City, but he was
It's just difficult when people feel like you're taking
Right,
their
doing,
choice.
doing
you know.
something with their land without their consent.
It's just tricky, but
Well, some of them didn't want to join the annexes because just the way that Mayor Jenkins
There was that.
responded, sent out the letter.
well, let's not do that this time.
Where's her piece at, right there? Just
She's kind of across from, like Carrie Miller. Do you know where Carrie lives?
You know, you're talking about like Carol Manning and that area.
Oh, yeah, right there.
It's those
Up saw that.
those homes across on
And where Penny Barnes and Carol
Penny's
Manning.
down, but like Carol and west of that, across the road.
Yeah.
Manning right there.
Where's Manning?
And Debbie is on the north side of the road.
This is the new Nelson subdivision.
So they are these homes right here.
Okay.
Oh, this subdivision is in the county?
I don't think it's the whole subdivision. I think it's just the ones along the road. Could be. I don't know. I thought you were saying Carol's here.
Carol's right there.
And where's the street?
This is Rachel.
Right here,
It's a
the blue line.
triangle
Oh,
piece
sorry,
that's by
then
the
it's these
Rocky
ones
Mountain
right here.
Power.
Oh, okay,
Right here.
right there.
Was that Commissioner or Councilwoman Beal?
Yep.
We can hardly hear you in here. I wonder why that is.
I can almost hear you, can barely hear Shauna too.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's all good. Sorry, Commissioner Faulkner. But yeah, they're over by the power lines. It's this little triangle right up by 2600 North
Yeah.
by
Oh, I
Rocky
see.
Mountain
Oh, yeah.
Power.
We got it.
4
Yep,
lots.
We found it. Yep.
We, like I said, though, I think what really swung on is because when Brett was able to provide state statutes saying, you know,
Yeah.
that it had to be done as part of the Jackson annexation.
Mm-hmm.
You guys all seen the map of the three areas that are going? I have,
No, I haven't seen that.
if you wanna take a look, you can pass that down. but, yeah.
Okay. Interesting stuff. Should be exciting. Oh, I found it. They have almost 2 acres.
Alreds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
1.75. That's plenty of room for horse property.
Yeah, she's got some.
But, so, I don't know where she's getting her information, but that shouldn't be an issue. I mean, I'm looking at the house right now, I'm assuming,
But, you know, but it goes
Pasture
back
out
to.
back.
Nothing should change
Yeah.
except that they're part of Plain City,
Yep.
right? Their taxes
That's-
will change and probably will go down.
Mine went,
I
I was
also
surprised
know
mine went,
they're
because they
having
kept
some-
telling me.
We can't hear you,
Sorry.
Rachel.
Sorry, I'm on my laptop and it does not have the best microphone. They're also having, some of the other residents are having questions. They're worried that they're gonna be forced to tie into the sewer. And because they're right up on the state road, that they're gonna have to dig into the state road. And they're gonna have to pay for all of that. And I'm thinking they're gonna be grandfathered in, they can stay on the septic, but they've been told that if they're within like 300 feet or something, they'll be forced to tie into Plain City Sewer.
I don't think that goes for an existing lot. I think that is for a development.
Actually, we don't enforce that. The county, the health department is over sewers, septic tanks. If they wanted to enforce that issue, it'd be upon the county.
Yeah. My dad would love to have
But they're getting quotes that it'd be $20,000 to $30,000 because it's involving the state road. And they're like, well, we didn't want to join Plain City. If you force us, and then we have to pay that exorbitant amount. So these are just concerns that they're having. They're understanding at this point the annexation is pretty much happening because of state statute. They just have these questions that they'd really like to have answered.
But I do believe, Rachel, that they can be answered at the public hearing.
Yeah.
But are they really going to be able to get these questions answered? It's kind of seeming that
I
a lot
don't know
of
when you say, are they really going to? I mean, there's public comment time. Everybody
they
should get
feel
that.
like they get only the 3 minutes. Are they going to be able to have any and all questions that they have answered in a public hearing.
Well, and if they don't, they are they can call into the offices and get those questions answered too. I think Tammy can answer the questions.
Could they submit them prior to the meeting?
That's
and
what
say,
I'm thinking.
Diane.
I would send the questions
Yeah.
in
Could go to Diane.
to Diane, yeah.
But, yeah, and they're welcome to come here to planning commission too and voice their concerns here. I mean, we just answered a few of them. We'd be happy to do the same here.
But
I mean,
every
even though
meet-
we're not discussing it, but,
Every meeting has public comments time, so they could
Yeah.
come.
I'm talking
Okay.
to the planning commission. So that's why it would have been nice to have like just a quick sit down with them to discuss just this instead of taking an entire city council public hearing or an entire planning commission. Just have something dedicated just to their questions.
Well, it sounds like that did happen with Blake's experience, so I don't think that's
Wasn't that for the
necessarily
Jackson
wrong,
property
but,
though? And,
but I
or
do think the mayor initiated it, and it doesn't sound like the mayor is going to initiate it, so,
not for the mayor, no.
yeah.
Sounds like that got shut down pretty hard because it sounds like the impression was that it was gonna be an ambush about, we don't wanna be annexed, not we have legit questions about what this means for our property that we'd like to have addressed.
It's true, but according to John's email, he has talked to them too, so they have had several opportunities to ask questions. Now,
When
I'm not saying
emotions
they
were
can't have more
high.
questions, I'm just saying they have been given a lot of time, and I think everybody's willing to give them more time,
yeah.
like
I
as
agree.
much time as they want. I mean, I know you're saying 3 minutes, but we go over all the time. I don't think it'll be a problem.
And we're not talking about very many lots here, are we?
Just 4.
Four.
So 4 residents, right? That's it?
For the annexation?
Is it definitely 4? Because I know Debbie keeps saying 7.
I'm thinking that.
But I've
very-
seen
still,
on
that's
the
not
map,
very
I
many
counted
lots.
4.
That's way less than.
Sorry, we're talking, I can't hear you very well.
That's
Okay.
okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but, oh, yeah,
But we're
you're right, it's down
specifically
2200
talking about the
north, too.
triangle.
But it's
The
not,
triangle.
it's not talking like the amount that was back. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe there's 7 residents just on 2,600.
Yeah,
We
there's
didn't
some.
have a lot of,
It was a pretty crowded meeting, if I remember right.
But either way, I would let her know she's gonna have time. If she still has questions after, can still ask her questions and get answers.
Okay.
Okay.
but like Sean said, the mayor initiated, I sent in the letter representing the community, our residents in the area, but it was the city that came back and says, hey, we received your letter, we'd like to meet with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, it sounds like maybe if it's just council people met with her, maybe that would be okay, but honestly, planning commission doesn't have.
I can't hear you again, Shauna. I think your mic keeps cutting
It
out.
just keeps going in and out. It doesn't like me today. It sounds like, though, that maybe city council could meet with her. I don't know, but it sounds like planning commission.
But you went
Probably
out
should
again.
not.
But I think we need at least one person that's pretty up and up on the ordinances.
It just keeps going Yeah. in and out. It doesn't like me today.
Okay.
It sounds like, though, that
We're
maybe
kind of
city
in commission comments already.
I don't know.
Any further commission comments? Let's see, we'll start down there, Commissioner Ortega.
I went to that, the conference. the
How
other
was
day,
it?
me and Shauna. I was disappointed. by it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was.
Not giving you any new information or kind of?
There's a lot of pitches for higher density.
There's a lot of, we're going to collaborate, and the way we're going to collaborate is we're gonna go legislate you into compliance.
Legislative on what level? On the local level or the state level?
State level, which
Collaborate?
includes
And
local.
that comes back to the urban solution for a rural problem, you know, and
I will say, I thought the guy from the government, Cameron Deal, he was more responsive about a small city, you know, having some exceptions than anybody else up on that panel.
Yeah.
So,
He's from the Utah League of Cities and Towns, and he's really good to interact with.
but the state guy, I can't remember his name, I think he lives up in the valley though, Steve Waldrop. Steve Waldrop. he was appointed by Governor Cox to force people into what he wants to do. He wasn't super amenable to worrying that small cities might need to develop different than larger cities. Because I asked him a direct question, if they would be doing that, and no.
I was hoping for a little more information. I got a little bit, you know, I learned a couple things, but it could have been a lot more informative, and it seemed like a lot.
That's how I know him, okay.
I was disappointed by it.
And Tammy was there too, by the way, but.
Yep. Thanks for coming.
They talked about ADUs.
Okay?
I didn't get any new information.
So they're saying, and I don't know if we do, but you should have an ordinance that addresses interior and attached and detached. And I don't know that we have all three.
No, we just have attached and detached, I think.
I think that our attached, we're assuming it also,
Is in the interior, sounds like.
so
Yeah,
I
I'd
don't,
like to know what the difference,
We have a detached and an interior. Attached is when you build additional onto the building. Ours says specifically that they shouldn't change the footprint.
oh, is that how they distinguish between?
Yes, that's,
So attached is like an add-on.
it changes the footprint.
We're
Right.
changing the footprint of
whereas an interior
is just, the
already have
footprint's not changing, but you're like,
basically a basement that
You're
that already
doing it.
exists,
Yeah.
you know, in commercial, they call it a tenant improvement type of a thing.
Okay.
Okay, so,
So I don't think our ordinance addresses all three.
I don't know that we needed to do all three. I think they were talking about we needed to have something for detached, and we do.
We do have
We also have
detached.
something for interior.
And if we feel like our existing for internal covers the attached, then that's fine too. But I'm just saying they did bring all three up.
interesting. Okay,
That's all I have.
Commissioner Neal?
I covered the Bart Cragen, and I've covered the 2008 annexation. I'll ask to be excused for our next meeting in November, and then there's Thanksgiving, so
Yeah.
it'll be December before I
So
see
we'll
you.
have a motion to probably
Well, we're all gonna look different by the time you see us again.
colder and heavier set.
I'll be,
At least I will be.
I'll be at sea that day.
Dustin?
Nothing.
John?
No, I was just gonna talk about the conference too. So
Okay.
it's all good.
I don't have anything. Tammy?
No, just, I think,
You looked at me surprised, like I was supposed to have something that I forgot.
I thought Josh said he wasn't gonna be here November 6th.
Okay,
It does say this on here.
I put it on there.
Oh,
okay.
So I think maybe we just kind of need a backup just in case, and I'll find out if he's, for city council.
Okay, for city council. You looked at me surprised, like
I can be there.
Okay. So,
I can tentatively say I could be there, but that could change. Okay.
If I need to be there, please let me know, but I plan on.
Very good. Dan, are you still online?
Yes, sir.
Anything?
No, I'm good.
All right. Then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right.
You can,
Shauna?
okay.
First, then Blake second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. There.
See ya.
Thank you.
Are you doing something fun?
Recording
I leave
stopped.
for Japan.
Oh,
Are we-
Cool.
we're gonna go to Japan next spring.
Oh, are ya?
Are you?
My brother is married a girl from Japan, and they're gonna go to visit, so we're gonna tag along with them.
On the ice.
So many buildings out on it.
What part